The leader, Herman Mashaba, claims the IEC is deliberately sabotaging his party by trying to make it unidentifiable to voters. The party is unhappy with the omission of its name on the recently approved ballot paper for the 2021 local government elections. The IEC only published ActionSA's logo, which the party claims might cost it its votes. Newzroom Afrika's Pelane Phakgadi attended the media briefing in Sandton, and he joins me now live. Pelane, a very good afternoon to you. What are the latest developments in this debacle?
Well, the latest development as far as we are concerned is the fact that the IEC may have missed the deadline to respond to the Electoral Court as to whether they'll be abiding by the call made by ActionSA or if they will be opposing it. We do understand that that deadline was around 10 o'clock this morning. Joining me now, perhaps, just to give us a little bit of details, is Michael Beaumont. He is the chairperson of the ActionSA. No abbreviation there, you say, and that will say might cost your vote.
Without any question, I think you've got to appreciate that ActionSA is a party that's been around for a year and 3 weeks. We are contesting against parties that have been around for years or decades. And in reality, when a voter goes to the poll, they are primarily looking for the name of the party. And the IEC's own study by the Human Sciences Research Council confirms that. The reality is if voters go to the polls and they don't see that name, some people will leave or spoil their ballot. Others might vote for a second choice. And of course, the other dynamic is when you've got two empty boxes next to one another for an abbreviated name and a vote, and people cast their vote in an abbreviated box, it's now going to be the subject of a contestation for a spoiled ballot later that night.
You've hauled now the IEC to the Electoral Court. You say they've missed their deadline to either abide or oppose, or at least make a notice to oppose your application.
Indeed, they had until 10 o'clock this morning to file their notice. They haven't. But the point is we will now proceed to the court. It will be for the IEC to explain to the court why it is that that was not met.
Yeah. Now, talk to us now as well about the impact of how you feel that this particular motion might really have on your elections campaign if ActionSA is not written on that particular ballot. What do you think is the significant impact?
Well, the impact is going to be voters who go to the polls and will not be able to cast a vote for the party that they want to vote for. And that's a very severe problem. And we must always remember, because these debates can become about political parties, and we need to put that right away. The obligation here is to the people and the voters of South Africa. It is their right to go into a ballot box, to receive a ballot paper, and for it to be easy to identify the political party of their choosing. And it's their rights that have to be protected.
Your leader was saying sabotage, and he said deliberate sabotage, he repeated. I'm sure that is the same sentiments that you're sharing. Why do you think the IEC will be sabotaging ActionSA deliberately?
I think we're less concerned as to why these things are happening, but rather to say they are happening. So the point, and the leader of the party was saying this very clearly, is that when we tried to register as a party, we were denied registration. Ironically then, it was the issue of the ballot paper and confusion then, which doesn't seem to be the same concern now. When we had that issue with the IEC relating to the Multi-Party Democracy Fund, where they are actively promoting a fund that will fundraise for a limited number of political parties, we had that issue. Last week, the list of candidates were published for political parties around the country. We were the only party, to our knowledge, left off that list. It was only remedied today. And now we have this issue. So at a certain point, we have to stop believing that maybe it's just not just bad luck.
Definitely. Michael Beaumont there is speaking as the national chairperson of ActionSA, and as far as he's concerned, ActionSA is 8 characters, and the limitation from the IEC is that there has to be about 8 characters in abbreviation. They don't have an abbreviation, and they believe that the name ActionSA should be put next to the logo, identifiable to voters in the next coming local government elections. And as far as the ballot is concerned, they believe that should be rectified, remedied as a matter of urgency, and they are on their way to the Electoral Court, they say, to try and ensure or force the IEC in that matter to rectify the matter.
Pelane, just remind us once again what the timelines are for ActionSA as well as the IEC.
As far as we are concerned, from what ActionSA is telling us, is that by 10 o'clock this morning, the IEC was supposed to really oppose, or at least make a notice to oppose the application made to the Electoral Commission, that to the Electoral Court, that it either they abide by the application or they are going to be opposing it. By tomorrow, if they had been opposing it, they will then have to make submissions about what their answering affidavits are, and of course by the next day ActionSA would then have had to answer to those particular application, and by Friday they were hoping that the election court perhaps will allow them to go into court and really litigate and why they should be, their name ActionSA should be put next to the logo as identifiable, they say, to the voters, and that which may be really hurting their image, and of course might not be what they're looking for when voters come through. They may not be able to identify ActionSA as they put it.
Pelane Phakgadi, thank you very much for that update. Certainly we'll be keeping abreast of developments on that front.